today. But what I was asked to do originally, when I was asked to do this presentation, but actually on Friday, was to kind of do a flipped classroom where y'all know a lot about what's going on at the state, and y'all could give us advice. And so I'm kind of incorporating that concept with what I'm going to be doing today. And I see a lot of you have computers. And so what I have done today is I have set up a project share group for us to share and give feedback. And so today will be a lot of me giving you information, but more importantly, we need information from you guys. And so if you could just bear with me in just a minute, I'll kind of walk you through getting into our group so that you can provide lots and lots of feedback before you leave. You didn't realize you were going to have to work this afternoon in the session, did you? But you worked well. So I'm Karen, and the Director of Educational Technology. And John Lopez, I know that a lot of you have been working with the IMA, and I know that Jennifer Berglund's going to be talking about the IMA tomorrow. It's going to be one of the topics. And John is our manager for instructional materials and educational technology. And you can see our team is Tammy Bright, Kathy Ferguson, and Richard Legault. And we're one person short. So we've got a lot going on, and we're a pretty small little team, but we're a powerful little team. And so we've inherited a lot of things when we lost the Nickel B funding, and so a lot of things are on our plate. And so what I really wanted to do today is to get feedback from you, because we are doing a lot of planning on our side. How can we best meet your needs and provide services for you that you need? And so we want you to understand we're a small little team, but we also want you to know we want to continue to meet your needs as we need, as you all need. So this is our team, and what I'd like to do just up front is to take you into Project Share and show you where our group is, so that throughout my 50 minutes or maybe 45 minutes, you will be able to give us feedback. So, do you all know how to get into Project Share? www.projectsharetexas.org. If some of you prefer, I shouldn't even say this, if you prefer, if you want to use a piece of paper and write comments, that's okay. But if you want to experience the Project Share for feedback, we would love it. So, do y'all need help getting in? www.projectsharetexas.org, and then log in. And I've kind of skipped here. I didn't know I would have internet access, so I just did a lot of screenshots. You should be able to get into a group under collaboration and get into the group called TECSIG Feedback Group. So it's capital TEC space SIG Feedback Group. And so what you do is you search for that group. Do we have a Project Share expert in here who would love to walk around and make sure anybody who wants to get on is getting on? Do we have maybe not an expert. How about I at least know how to get on person? What are we searching for? I'm sorry. Does anybody need assistance? Well, you're searching for the group called TECSIG Feedback. So if you TEC space SIG. This is a really tricky way to do it. Did anybody get in there? All right, then help your neighbor. if your neighbor needs help. So the group in Project Share is called TEC space SIG. And so what you do is you search for that group. Does anyone need help? Because we would love to help you. And again, if you don't have access or for some reason or another, if you want to just write on paper, that would be okay as well. But we're really interested in getting feedback as we move forward in this presentation. So, TECSIG Feedback is what is the group. And these are the areas of feedback that I've kind of immersed in the presentation, and at various points, we'll kind of stop for a few seconds and kind of or a few minutes and kind of get some feedback going. But the things that we really need your feedback are, big time, are E-rate, E-plan, and the Texas Star Chart. We inherited those when we lost the Nickelby Title IID funding. And so our shop, which I showed you who our folks are in our shop, we are overseeing these projects, these huge initiatives, the E-rate discount, the E-plan system so that you can get the E-rate system, and then the Texas Star Chart that we're all working with. And so we don't know, do you need more training? Is everything going well? Have you found some things in any of these that need to be updated or changed? And so this is your opportunity to give us some feedback. And so this is a group that's kind of open for everybody right now. And because we didn't want to close it and make you have to go through the process of requesting to get in. So we just opened it up to all of you to go ahead and give us feedback. And I'm going to go through, in the presentation, I'll stop and I'll say, okay, it's time to talk about E-rate. It's time to talk about E-plan. But I wanted to kind of give you just kind of an overview of the kinds of things we'll be talking about. Then, something that's really big, and you might have been a part of the process, is that we have been looking at the long-range plan for technology 2006 to 2020. And you might have had an opportunity to look at it and give us some feedback. A lot of folks did. And so what we're going to do with that feedback is we have to do a progress report. We must do a progress report on the long-range plan for technology. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's hard to believe, but we have to have it in by December so that we can provide it for the legislature and the governor, and it all has to be done by December. And so it's like, oh my gosh, I started thinking, backing up. We've got a lot to do. And so we wanted your feedback, and so we've got some questions in this forum for you for a discussion on the progress report on the long-range plan. And so I'll, at a certain point, I'll be sharing what this forum looks like and the questions that are in there. Then the Technology Applications Teacher Network. Not only the wonderful event, thank you, TCEA. That was an incredible job that they did, because when we lost our funding, we couldn't keep going with the big event. And so TCEA came to our rescue. And so we have some thoughts and some discussion points regarding TATN that we wanted to throw at you. And finally, for your feedback, is Project Share examples. We are just looking for great examples of how Project Share is being used. Tomorrow, you'll hear from Becky Cook, and they've done a lot of really wonderful things with Project Share, but we know others are as well. So we've got some examples broken down in this forum. So again, we'll kind of get to these through my session, but I want to kind of give you a heads up that you have a place to put feedback. Now, are there other topics that aren't on there? And I'm like scared to ask, but are there other topics that are burning that we need to make sure we cover and give you feedback, an opportunity for feedback? Oh, quiet group, huh? I don't think so. Well, if they come up, we can add them. But for now, we're just going to kind of focus in on these different areas. So, I already shared with you that we've inherited the Star Chart, E-plans, and E-rate. We've also inherited the technology, the Nickelby Technology Report. Any questions about that?
When is it going to open?
Okay. I know that. See? All righty. Right now, and it's like, gosh, in some ways I wish this meeting were like next week, because our management is right now approving a letter to go out to the schools. And so I can't speak for them, but in very, very soon you will be getting a letter to the administrators, and it will tell you about the opening up, of the technology report. So keep, if you could just hold on. They're all busy with the state board today, and so you will hear more about the technology, the Nickelby Technology Report, like in a letter to the administrators, and we'll send out a notice. Maybe we'll definitely let Lori know so that she can send it out to everybody when that letter to the administrator comes out. So right now, it's still in discussion and approval at our office. Yes?
I'm relatively new in administering the STAR chart, but I've taken it in the past, and I've looked at some of our data. Is it going to be rewritten?
That is actually a very good question, and actually, it's coming up very soon. In our discussion forum, we're asking you, okay, we need your feedback. What do you think? Does it need updating? What parts of it need updating? Does the whole thing need to be we need to hear from you. And so, in just a second, and actually, I can do that one first because they're all relatively in there together. But this is the Texas STAR chart. So, we figured you might have this question, and so we're kind of turning the tables around and asking you, what do you think? Would you like, first of all, the first question that Richard has been very, very instrumental in overseeing and answering your questions about the STAR chart, and he has a question for you. And this is real important for us because we've heard different answers and different people want different things to happen, and so we really wanted your input. He wants to know, would you like for TEA to set a recommended timeline for completion of the Texas Campus and Teacher STAR charts? And then he gets into it and he says there's never been a set deadline, and some schools do it very differently. They have if you go into this, it explains what some schools do and then what some other schools do. And what Richard's question is to you is, do you think it would serve any purpose for us to kind of give a more, this is a timeline. This is when we think that all the teachers should finish their STAR charts, and here's a time when we think that all of the administrators finish the campus STAR chart. Do y'all see that there's a need? And again, the little blurb that comes under here is Richard's explanation of why we're asking that question. And so when you're in here, are y'all finding these okay? If you're in, so Texas STAR chart is one of the topics, and you just go under, and that's the first question, discussion question that we have. Yes. The name of the group is TECSIG Feedback.
With a space.
With a space. TECSIG Feedback. Yeah, and so when I said we really need your feedback, that's definitely, this is a spot we really hope to get that feedback. And then, to answer your question, we had a feeling that you might be wanting to give us feedback. Number two, it's very, very important for us to get feedback from you all. Do you have any suggestions for the campus and our teacher STAR chart? Please share any suggestions for improving, updating the campus and our teacher STAR charts. So here's your chance. Write us a book. This holds a lot of information. If you need to link places, if you need to send us other places, just tell us as it is how you feel about it, and we need to know. So definitely take a look in the TECSIG Feedback group, and it's under the heading, and I guess I should tell you, it's under the heading Texas STAR Chart, and there's two questions. Would you like for TEA to set a recommended timeline for completion? And do you have any suggestions for the campus and our teacher STAR chart updates or improvements? So, write us a book. Yes.
I guess what would be helpful is, I was just told to complete it, and then I hammered my teachers and got it done.
Right.
But what is the whole objective of having it? What do we want to get out of it? What does TEA want to get out of it? What's the purpose of having this? What do we do with that information?
But most of this information is linked with the e-plan, which is linked with, a lot of you are getting your E-rate discount because of so it's kind of like a chain reaction. And that's kind of why Richard is saying, would it help if we gave you more of a timeline that this time you need to be doing this, and this time you need to be doing this with your e-plan, this time you need to be, or just maybe not a recommended, but a suggested kind of a timeline so that you get everything done and everything's on time That was his question, because as of right now, there isn't really anything like that, and the flexibility is there for the districts, which could definitely be, the way you want to keep it. But he's wondering if we needed him to do some kind of a timeline. But it all fits together with the E-plan and the E-rate discount and all of that.
Sharon, related to your Star Charts question, a lot of that development back before the Earth crust cooled, that was a long time ago, was driven by Title II Part D requirements.
Exactly.
So people need to think about, now that that's not necessarily a requirement, although it's probably good practice, does it have to be two separate processes? And so are you interested in just content or also processes?
Processes, content, everything. Okay. Anything you're thinking that might help us in the future. Absolutely. And it was. A lot of it was tied to the last long-range plan. It was tied to the Nickel-B reporting and it was Nickel-B requirements. And just kind of an FYI, as you do move forward thinking about the Nickel-B technology report, do understand that the law is still there. The law is still effective. The ones that's talking about the students will be technology literate, the teachers will be technology literate, the technology, the schools must be fully integrating technology. All that law is still there. And so it's the funding that's not there, but the law is still there. So if you need some kind of something to take back, the law is still there. It's still important to do a lot of these things. So this is the feedback form for you for Star Chart. And how long do you think you need to give us feedback? Will y'all let us know how long we should keep this open? Because I opened it up for the world at this point. So anyone who happens upon TECSIG feedback, it's not just this group. So that they might, I was going to do it, actually, and that might be something if you put it into the TECSIG group, then y'all can ask to get in and then I could give you permission. So that might, what we'll do is we'll send a follow-up information on this feedback place. And then going backwards, let me go to the slide before. This is C1, and this is the other group forum topic, and it's E-plan. And this is very huge, and again, it's tied to the Star Chart, it's tied to the E-rate. And so we've got some questions for you. What type of assistance do you need in the use of the E-plan system? Should the E-plan system be updated? Or are there other data elements that should be gathered through the E-plan system? Would it be helpful for us to gather any other types of information statewide? We're getting ready for the legislative session. We know we get lots of questions about, well, what schools are doing one-to-one, or, there's a lot of questions. Is there any other information you can think of that might be important as we move forward with digital learning and where we're going with 21st century learning, or whatever you want to call it? What else do we need to do? What other data elements might we need to be looking at as a part of it? And back to what Barb said, without the Nickel-B funding, it kind of opens us up to do whatever's needed to make sure that our students have what they need and the schools move in a really good direction. So that is E-plan. And then this is the biggie. This is where it gets a little complicated. All the E-rate, discounts, process, and system, and we want to make it as simple as possible for your district. So this is pretty much Richard to go asking you these questions. First of all, number one, this is Richard, and you can see Richard asking these questions. And again, it's in and I'm just kind of going quickly, but if you go to the E-rate on that listing of all the different topics, and I never even told y'all that these are forums. We went into the forum. We decided to do forum rather than wiki, and anybody who knows me says I love wiki, but I didn't want it to make it so that you had to wait for somebody else to answer and then pass the baton to somebody else to talk. I wanted to make it so that everyone can post something in the discussion. So I'm in the forum. Do any of y'all need help getting to this point? I should have assigned.
I'm having issues with, I think, with the iPad. Is anyone in here on iPad? Oh, you can't do it?
I'm done.
I can.
Yeah, you should be able to do it on the iPad.
Not if you don't know the password.
Now, Paul, are you helping
You're
him?
going to ask me my 2 questions.
Are you just letting him?
Because it's 2 years.
I can move around, but I can't get in the group.
You'd ask me 2 questions. Left and NC.
I subscribe to the facilitator role.
Oh, okay.
You learn this from the issues you come up against.
Okay.
So when you start preaching for a ninth grade, I'll sit in.
Is there someone who could just very quickly run back there and help him?
Oh, I'll come to you.
Or he'll come to you? All right. Thank
I'm
you.
here to volunteer.
It's tough to not have to work on this stuff today.
Well, we want to make sure that anyone who wants to give us feedback gives us feedback. And so, again, if you even want to write it down if you're having issues getting in, that would be just fine for now. And then if you want to go tomorrow or the next day and put information in, that would be great. All righty. So E-rate, so important because millions of dollars are at stake here in discounts. And so Richard's asking you, what does your school district need from TEA to allow you to be successful in seeking E-rate discounts? Is there anything that we need to be providing for you? The second question is we thank our ESCs so much for all their help. Is there anything the ESCs need to be doing to help us or to help you with E-rate? And the final question is, if you do need training, because a lot of folks are saying, hey, we need training, what specific topics should be covered? And the other question is, should it be face-to-face or is a webinar satisfactory? So here's our opportunity for you to share with us information about E-rate. Keeping in mind the team of folks that are overseeing E-rate, we will do whatever we can to help. So here's our E-rate. So I went over the STAR chart, I went over E-rate and E-plan. And so those are the areas that I wanted to make sure that you realize that we have categories in the feedback part. And now I'm going to move to a different topic. Or any of you have questions about giving us feedback or any questions about E-rate, E-plan, or STAR chart? And I kind of told you Nick will be waiting for that letter that's going to come out, and Lori will send you a notice when it's there, I'm sure. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, y'all all know about the new text, and I still get questions, and actually, this is a curriculum. Technology applications is part of curriculum, and I'm a part of instructional materials and educational technology. And so they get a lot of questions, but I also get a lot of questions. But they are effective this next school year, so I wanted to make sure you all know that. And if you do have questions about technology applications, it's real important, too, to understand that it is a curriculum and area. So, like Monica Martinez is the person who oversees this area. And so a lot of times you might send me a question, and it's not that I'm avoiding you, but they are the authority, and so I forward your questions over to Monica and her folks in curriculum. These courses are very, very exciting, but they are very, very new, and skills to be able to teach these new courses for next school year. This is a big challenge, a very exciting challenge. And so I guess what I highly recommend at this point, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it in a few minutes too, is that Region 10, Craig Gray, is overseeing the work of some professional development tied to the technology applications text. And the K-8 is coming, there will be a release project share course, or courses in June, is the targeted date. And Barb, did you learn something about high school courses?
Anticipated rollout for high school courses will be this coming fall. Unfortunately, don't think they'll have it ready when teachers come back in August, but later in the fall, shoot towards late September to have it available. One of the things Craig wanted to mention, Karen, is you remember we had those great focus group sessions at the state conference, and lots of people said, not only do we want help with the PD side of things, we really want your help in coming up with the scope and sequence for these courses. And although that's not in the scope of the development of the PD course, talking with the agency about to see if they want to increase the scope on that piece. So, Karen may want feedback on that as well, whether that's important to your district as well for the TECSIG course.
And in just a few minutes, I'm going to show you, there's a Technology Applications Teacher Network link, and you can absolutely give us any kind of feedback you want right there. Does anyone else want to say anything about the high school courses?
TCEA is going to be developing curriculum for the courses, the high school courses that are more likely to be taught. We will not develop curriculum for computer science, because most of your teachers already have that. But for the app development and some of the others, we will have that available. I don't know what it's going to cost. It should be out, I'm hoping, by the middle of June. I think probably it'll be some type of fairly inexpensive bundle with training and the curriculum together for your teacher. And we'll be sending you out word on that. And the curriculum will be written by teachers who are currently teaching those courses. Okay?
Okay, so there will be a lot of valuable information and resources for you, because it is going to be quite exciting and different to teach discrete mathematics or 3D modeling and animation might be there might be more resources, but once you start getting into web game development and the app development, you're getting into such new and exciting courses that, not many know how to do all of that. So thank you, TCA, and thank you, Region 10, and I think the joint effort, and then I'm sure districts too will be helping. There will be teachers that come to the top who say, I'm an expert at this and can help others. So, very exciting time. Just wanted to also say that, because the question has come to me, and again, to curriculum a lot, what has happened to AP and IB, and they're all still there. They're all there. And then, this is another question that I think that when I was the Tech Apps director, I think I must have said this every single session, but because we still get questions, because I still forward them questions over to Monica to answer this question, I thought, let's put it in this slideshow to remind everybody that a school district that offers grades 9 to 12 must offer the following courses and maintain evidence that students have the opportunity to take these courses. And they changed up Chapter 74, took out the old courses, put all the new courses in. So it's still at least 4 courses selected from, but it's a big choice now. So it's still there. But I wanted to prevent the questions and calls that yes, it's still there. That requirement's still there. Okay, moving right along, something that is very exciting as well is, and actually we're talking about it probably right now at the state board meeting, is that in instructional materials and educational technology, they just announced the newest proclamation, and I'm saying this is still in effect, but they're having a state board meeting now and they're talking about it. But this is Proclamation 2014, and they're talking about having technology applications materials created. And what it means by Proclamation 2014 is that the implementation would be 2014-2015. So I know it seems like a long time, but at least we're in the queue, and that there will be materials for instruction for technology application. All right, and here I go to the little group forum called Technology Applications Teacher Network, where I wanted you to have an opportunity to ask questions. The first one is Technology Applications Teacher Network group. And here's where it says, please take a look at the Technology Applications Teacher Network group in Project Share and add useful resources for K-5, 6, 8, and 9, 12 in the wiki area. Also, please add anyone in your school or ESE who would like to be a mentor for others. And I know that Craig is taking this information very, very seriously. And those who say they want to be mentors, he's giving them to help us in the development of the courses. So please focus on this one. This is more of an FYI, sending you to another group that we have. And it is actually the group we used the day of the TA10 event during TCEA. Then the question is, do you have any feedback on improvements for the event if it is continued next year? It shouldn't be if, right, Lori?
No, it will be continued.
Yay! Yay for TCEA for making it. I'll change that. Do you have any feedback on improvements for the event next year? So, and then anything else you want to put in here, if you want to add some feedback on anything that comes to your mind that has to do with professional development and moving forward with the TECSIG implementation. And again, any questions you might have curriculum related, I will forward over to Monica, and her group is incredible. Alrighty, the next thing I want to share with you, and I'm not sure about timing at all, so I'm assuming, because I have a lot more, but I will kind of go a little faster, I guess. But this is a chance for you to help us big time. And this is probably the most important thing I'm going to ask you for, to give us feedback. Because I mentioned that we have this progress report, and it is April, and we have till December. And in this progress report, we're really hoping to update kind of some of the recommendations in the long-range plan and say how we are addressing, meeting those recommendations in the long-range plan. And so this is your opportunity to tell us, in teaching and learning, development progress. This question is very important to us. What should we make sure to include in our discussion of developments and progress in meeting the teaching and learning recommendations in the long-range plan? Please share, anything you would like to share with us as we are writing this very important report as to where we are in meeting our recommendations in the long-range plan. And again, it goes to all the legislature as well as the governor and in December area. The second one is taking teaching and learning school ESC examples. And so what we would really, really like to do is to show really good testimonials or good examples, good success stories. What have you done in your school? It could be a classroom, it could be a teacher. What has been done that really supports learning and has made a huge difference using technology? We really want all these success stories because we feel that the legislature and the governor and everyone needs to hear what good things have happened in educational technology, specifically in teaching and learning. And so those two questions focus on teaching and learning. The next two, prep and development. The next go on and on. That means I'm almost done. Okay, I'll go quickly. So bottom line is, we need your feedback here. 2 different questions for each of the 4 categories in the long-range plan. The first one will always be what developments and progress has been made. If you really think about, where we've come since, last year, or actually 2 years ago, and then school examples and ESC examples. We need those. The next thing, kind of changing again the topic, is we want to make sure that all of you are aware of Texas Educational and iTunes University and take advantage of all these free resources that are out there. And are specifically focusing on tech information and resources and videos, podcasts, etc. from Texas universities, cultural institutions, K-12 schools, and other organizations. And there's a new iTunes U app and bookcase we wanted you to make sure to know about. And then featured content collection. And there is incredible information and resources, and again, there are videos. These are videos from iTunes U. And I must say that our dear friend, he's looking around. He has a discovery series, and we have posted those on our featured content collections because they're really, really exciting. And so these are wonderful videos that are educational for everyone across the state and anyone actually who wants to access them from our Texas Educational and iTunes U. There's also a lot of our state departments, like the Texas Parks and Recreation. They have wonderful videos, tons of free videos on here. And you know that our dear friend would have very excellent ones that he does. Thank you.
It's all about me.
It's all about you. Oh, it is. No. Just kidding. And so there's lots and lots and lots of free videos. So, in these times when things are harder to access and get information, we know that there are some fantastic resources out there for us. Now, I'm not going to talk much about the Project Share new gateway, which we are absolutely thrilled about, but because I hear they're going to talk about it tomorrow, and I don't want to steal their thunder. But there is a new look and feel when you go to Project Share. You might have just looked at it today and when I was sending you to a group and thinking, that doesn't look the same. Well, it doesn't, because Anita's group has done an incredible job to bring a lot of resources that were hidden out to the top so that they're easy for anyone to be able to access, not just behind the login and password, but you can find resources. There's featured resources, there's tons of information, and they're actually tied to curriculum. And the first set tied to Algebra 1. So take a look at the new format, and I'm going to leave it for Becky, because I know she's going to be talking about it tomorrow. Also, I just want to share with you, there's a Project Share booklet that's linked from the Project Share site that talks about where we've been and where we're going. And it might help as you're doing your planning in your district to know where we're going so that we can make sure we're all on the same page and we're all going to the same place. Then I want you also to know that we had an incredible South by Southwest conference, and Arnie Duncan's keynote and LeVar Burton's and Marjorie Scardino's keynote from Pearson. All these are posted, so we want you to be able to take a look at those because they're really, really great keynotes from the really wonderful conference we had. And then I want to I'm not going to talk much about it, but there's a part on the new website, on the new gateway that says that it's like a guide to take you through it, and I just want you to know that the guide is there, so it'll take you through it. And I'm going to kind of go through this really fast because I do know that they are going to talk about this tomorrow. So I don't want to steal their thunder. Okay. But I know that some of you might have questions about, should I be using Project Share? Should I be getting into it? And if for nothing else, the online professional development is incredible. There is so much there now. And it has multimedia in it, Web 2.0 tools, and more. Interactive lessons are part of the professional development, manipulatives and simulations, video of actual classrooms, integration of New York Times content. I've always talked about, all the different library resources we've had, and they are no longer here, but we do have the New York Times. So take advantage of those wonderful resources. There's links to wonderful lessons, and here's just an on-track social studies resource. So we started with professional development, and now we're getting into actual student courses that teachers can assign specific parts to for the students to actually go in there and get some additional supplemental instruction on certain topics. And the beauty of that is they're aligned with the end-of-course exams. And so any high school teacher who is teaching a course that is high stakes, these are wonderful resources for the students and teachers. Then also the opportunity for professional learning communities just because of the excellent environment. I don't think you can see this, but I think that we'll try to get these to you. This is just a listing of all the courses that have been provided, have been developed, and there are a few actually coming in April. And math, science, English language arts, social studies, ELF, administrator courses, student courses, PCP coming, and then others coming in April. Tons of different courses that are there for your students, and the student ones, and then all the others are repeating. And then I'm going to kind of go very quickly, but I just want to show you, or how many of you have taken advantage of the content repository? Have y'all taken advantage of the content? Okay, a few of you. I just want you to realize that inside of the excellent environment, and I'm not sure if we're going to talk about this, so I love to tell you just a little bit about this, is there's this content repository. And I've plugged in Solar System. And what happens is, we have all these different content providers, New York Times, since 1851, PBS Learning Media, CSIS 7 Revolutions, Share Templates from the New York Times, Stardate, Flat World Knowledge, Aventa, CK12, PHET Simulations, MIT, and it goes on and on and on. So if I do my search for solar systems, the New York Times comes up with all of these wonderful multimedia resources. Some are video, some are in print, but it gives you a lot of resources that are right there. And so there's images, video, just in this, and it goes on and on and on. There found 66 results. So I just wanted you to realize you have all this free content available to you. And again, I mentioned the New York Times is from 1851, as well as commentary, analysis, video, and multimedia. Also, this is just, I went to one of those, and so once you go into what the feedback and the content is there, the digital content, you find out that they're very, very interactive and lots of multimedia, so the students can actually gain a lot, and the teachers actually can use these in lessons. Then here's Texas PBS, and it also has lots of videos. It tells you the length of time. It tells you the age groups that would benefit from the videos on the solar system. And they are one of our partners. And I just selected one just to show you that, like, here's NOAA Science Now. So all of these are inside of the content repository that's inside of the EPSL environment inside of Project Share. Now here is what it looks like when you go to Stardate. Stardate from the McDonald Observatory. So when I did solar system, all these wonderful audio, MPEG, these are mostly audio files that you can listen to regarding solar system and stars. And here's an example, the solar system Home Sweet Home. So it takes you to all of this wonderful digital content that's associated with the solar system in the Stardate area. And then I'm going to, this is kind of a favorite I've heard from some of you guys, the CK12. It takes you to chapters in books that cover solar system. And so, so just a lot of this is the open source content that's also in the content repository. And this is just an example of what the chapter would look like. Lots of video, lots of interactive, very, very motivating, engaging. And then I'm going to just show this and kind of go quickly, because there's more and more of the different content that's there. But the PHET simulations are actually wonderful scientific simulations from the University of Colorado at Boulder. And so when I did solar system, I got a really great interactive here that I could run and manipulate and learn a lot from. And here is, I'm going to just kind of go through. This one gave us a lot of comic books. And this was actually NASA articles. So I just wanted to share that with you. And then I just also wanted, before I end, I want to also say that from the Technology Applications Teacher Network Group that we set up, there's lots and lots of lessons there. So what I was trying to do before I end is just to say there's lots of visual content that's out there, and whether you get it from the content repository or whether you get it from the Technology Applications Teacher Network Group, and I'm just going to kind of tell you that all these different screens take you through lots and lots of resources in the drop boxes from the conference. In February, the pre-conference of the TATN event, and then here's general files. And I know my time is probably run out, and so I'm going to just say that if you go to the Technology Applications Teacher Network group, that'll be another group. You find a lot of wonderful resources from the presenters that day. Okay, I'm going to take you right here, and what I would like to say is my very last piece of information that we want from you, very, very, very important, is Project Share examples. We want to know how you're using Project Share, because we feel that if you share what you're doing, then others can learn and see the exciting things that you're doing with the different tools, whether it's e-portfolios for a classroom website or e-portfolios to share professional development resources with your team. But we want to know campus examples, student examples, teacher examples, librarian examples, administrator examples. We want all the examples, and then if you're new to Project Share, hopefully you'll go here and see what other people are doing that's really, really exciting. So, with that, I think my time is over, and hopefully, I've hopefully given you some information, but more importantly, we hope that you'll have an opportunity to share with us as we do move forward and plan and try to meet the needs of our school. So, thank you so much.
Thank you, Karen, for coming. We always appreciate you stopping by and giving us an update on the latest and greatest stuff. So.